Opie wants to take a 20% sample of students from the school. The profile of the students is shown in the table below. See, there's 950 in all. Now, if we just think about 20% of 950, we know that 10% is 95, so just double that. We're wanting a sample of 190 students. We're going to assume Year 7 students are numbered 1 to 150, Year 8 students 151 to 300, and so on. So we want to explain how to do each of these following types of sample. So for a simple random sample, we're just going to generate random numbers from 1 to 950 and select the students from that list. You can see on this calculator I have here, I've got a random number generator. Now I've generated 220 random numbers. We know that we want 190, but we're bound to get some repeats, and then we can just ignore those repeats if we take extra ones. So I've generated random numbers. This first student, 331, that must be so we've got 150 there, 300 there. That's going to be a Year 9 student. And I think the 551, so that would be 450 up to there. So that's going to be a Year 10 student, and so on. So that's how we would do it. We would just find the student on our sampling frame that corresponds to each of these random numbers, and we'd put them in the sample. Now, for a systematic sample, so if we want 20%, that's 1 in 5 students. So you're going to start by generating a random number from 1 to 5. Let's suppose that number is 4. Since we want 1 in 5 students, we're going to want every 5th student from number 4. So we're going to want student 9, we're going to want student 14, we're going to want student 19, and so on. Now finally in C, a systematic sample, we want to make sure that we get a proportionate number. Just by the way, with the sort of sampling list we've got here, this sample would certainly, if not be exactly proportional, would be very close to it. But anyway, let's come back to the systematic sample. So we want 20% from each year group. So that would be 30 from here, 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 20 and 20, making up our 190. And then we would just do a simple random sample for each group. So what I mean by that, we want 30 of these Year 7 students. So if I go back to my calculator with the random num generator, I would do another rand list. And there's different calculators have different ways of doing this. And because of repeats, I might generate myself, say, 45 random numbers. And those would need to go from 1 to 150. And then I would select the Year 7 sample from the numbers here. And then I would move on to the 8s. And I would generate my random numbers from 151 to 300, and so on.